No, that's wrong. Dixie Diamonds, 144. Metz, Isabella Falls, Dixie, 7:55 p.m. Since I'm highly confident that Constable Truganini and Agent Jeffrey will be employing the divide and conquer strategy of which law enforcement is so terribly fond, Balloony transmitted to his close friends and allies as Lizzie, Eddie, and Jerald made their way down the driveway from their front porch to the pair of law enforcement vehicles. I'm going to stay in rapport with Lizzie and Ed so they don't contradict one another concerning their experience with Brentsy's telepathy machine. Karen, Paul, if you're available, I'd suggest that the two of you listen in for when you are eventually questioned by the authorities. Joey, you're welcome to as well, but it's not nearly as critical in your case, since your telepathy experiences have all been with the group at large, so all the pieces were on the chessboard together for any moves in which you participated. Ed replied, I was literally about to ask you to do that, B, at least so far as Lizzie and I are concerned. I like your cover story concerning Brentsy pulling the wool over her eyes and making us think we were battling for good by using a thought transmitter he created, but that leaves way too much room to knock on and lose the ball. Knock on, rugby, when one teammate attempts to pitch the ball to another as they are running down the field and the receiver drops the ball. The penalty is called a knock-on. Ed, smiling invitation as he and Liz approached to within a meter of their neighbor and her plain-clothed companion, said, Well, hello, Constable, to Leila Truganini. Then adding, Agent Jeffrey, how do you do? With hand outstretched an invitation to the ASIO agent. I'm Edward Borden, and this is Elizabeth, my wife, he said as he shook hands with the stranger. We understand we've somehow become trapped in a drain and have created a bit of a clog here, a bit of a plumbing problem we hope to get cleared up. Mr. Borden, Mrs. Borden, the ASIO agent said, returning Ed's firm handshake, then turning toward Liz and tipping an imaginary hat. Read Jeffrey. There's definitely debris on shore, and I've been tasked to determine which is flotsam and which is jetsam. Something I'm hoping the two of you can assist with, and then I'll get out of your hair, he said as Jerald scampered up and stood before the agent with tail wagging excitedly. Flotsam, noun, the wreckage of a ship or its cargo found floating on or washed up by the sea. Jetsam, noun, unwanted material or goods that have been thrown overboard from a ship and washed ashore. Looking to the Bordens with furrowed brow, Agent Jeffrey pointed to Jerald and asked, friendly, with a smile. Most definitely, Lizzie replied, adding, Jerald, this is Agent Jeffrey, as she took a knee in genuflection while opening her arms in invitation to Jerald. Said invitation acted upon forthwith, as Jerald scampered into her arms, wagging his tail and sniffing towards Reed Jeffrey. Agent Jeffrey, this is Jerald, she added as she scooped Jerald from the driveway and stood with him in her arms. Agent Jeffrey, head tilted to the side, asked pleasantly, And how do you do? Of Jerald before turning his gaze back to Lizzie and Eddie and commenting, Your pup looks to be one of a kind. What have you got there other than a fabulously fetching pet? This is Jerald, Lizzie said with a head tilt, smile, and shrug. Z is a hybrid between a dog and a cat. Don't ask us how, we just know Z is fantastic. Z? Agent Jeffrey asked. Oh, Alice, Truganini said with a laugh. Did you just jump down the rabbit hole? In addition to being a kitty dog, Jerald is also a hermaphrodite, 100% male, while also 100% female. Don't ask, no one has an answer, but I stand by Liz's statement concerning Zim being a lovely, Alice's Adventures in Wonderland by Lewis Carroll. Right then, Jeffrey said, punctuating his declaration with a gentle stroke on Jerald's head. I've heard wilder tales, but not one involving puppy dog tales, if you'll excuse my exclusion of your feline side, Jerald. Regardless, we need to chat with Mom and Dad. In fact, we need to chat separately. Is there a place where Constable Truganini can speak with one of you for a bit while I chat up the other, and then we'll switch? We need to figure out what's going on with your Balloony friend. Of course, Ed replied. Would one of you like to chat on our porch and the other inside? Outside works for me, Jeffrey replied. I was cooped up in a car getting here, so a little fresh air would suit me fine. All right with you, Constable? That works for me, Truganini said with a nod. Right, Ed said, nodding towards the front porch, then adding, Follow me, as he led the procession back towards the house.